Again, you can look at it as a defensive thing. Maybe it's your counter to a heavy knee slice. You can think of it as an offensive thing. Maybe you're actively looking to dogfight to work your way up. Either way, it's definitely one of those positions that you should learn, right? Especially if you're playing a heavy half guard game and, guys could potentially free their knee, from that inside, right? So once that happens, and let's just assume I was able to bump them up, right? And again, this even looks a lot different, depending on how I'm reaching here. But again, when I do this little reach with my left hand, right, I keep telling people a lot of the movements that I do is really with my bicep extended and kind of creating tension on the side of his ribs, right? So if I were to, let me go back to half guard just so I can show something real quick. So if I were to, let's just say I reach, I go back elbow, right, based on with this hand, right here, if I wanted to kind of get back to my side, I'm not just gonna go like, and then go to my side, right? I'll actually use like the tension of my arm to move. So look at, my left elbow cleared that overhook, and now I point in that direction. Like I kind of point above my head. See how I kind of move my body out of the way? And then that starts the motion of being able to get closer to his hips. He's gonna go ahead and place that overhook, boom, and then I'm all the way up, right? If I had my hand on the inside of his leg, I probably would have came up something like this, right? And then from here, you're looking for knee taps, maybe for powder kegs. But one thing specifically I look for, especially on the way up, is to try to get my head a little bit higher than his pretty quickly, right? And this doesn't happen all the time, but if I can force him pretty quickly and get up, a lot of times I can see the top of his head. That kind of gives me the cue to shoot my arm on the inside. And what I'm looking to do is almost like an imitation type guillotine where I shoot my arm past his head, and then I use my elbow, my right elbow, to kind of like tilt his neck, and my left arm to kind of like toss him to his side, right? I think they call it like a cow catcher almost, right? So I shoot my arm through, and I'm gonna kind of like toss him to the side, right? And this motion right here, my left elbow hits, right? And then now as my right hand comes up, like my right elbow starts to swing to the top, I turn my left knee to the ceiling. So I do something like this, right? Where I'm trapping his top leg with my left foot, and I have control of this underhook with my left arm, and my hand is like flat across his chest, right? I have like a guillotine wrap, and the knuckles of my chest, of my hand are against his chest. And then I'll hide that hand with my chest laying on top of it, right? So I'm up on the tip of my right elbow, my hand is flat on my chest, like if I was like feeling my heart, and my left underhook is nice and tight. And my hip right now is not on the mat. All my weight, or most of my weight, is on the tip of that right elbow. So left foot, maybe the side of my right knee, but a lot of that weight is on that right elbow. And the more I lean that way, it's like have a bar under his neck, and his head just tilts the more I lean towards his temple, right? So, do I do it on purpose, like creatively? Oh, hell yeah, right? Make it suck from my lean a little bit. Sometimes I'm like walking this hand up. And this is where, things can change it, right? There's a couple things that could happen. Ideally, the main attack I try to do is I try to stay on top with this guillotine, right? So my hand, right now my right hand's flat on my chest. My left hand kind of snakes, and you can almost act like you're trying to like take your thumb very close to his armpit, and you're just looking to reach right on top of your knuckles here. All right, so if I were to remove his head, I'm literally placing my hand almost like a knife hand, right? Just like this. All right, so I'm here, I have my guillotine hand, I'm leaning, my hand snakes through, and the moment my hand snakes through, I'm looking to step over, right? But here's what's gonna happen. If I step over my left foot and I keep my shoulders concave, I'm face planting, right? It's gonna look something like this. Boom, right here, right? So I definitely don't want to like concave my shoulders and like plant my face on the mat. As I step my left foot over his hip, I'm gonna remain on my right elbow, right? I still wanna be on the tip of my elbow, not on the side, on the tip, right? So as I step, I'm gonna open up my chest like Superman, right? So I'm gonna step, and then I'm gonna open up my chest like Superman, and then I give a little tilt at the same time. So it comes on pretty fast, right? You good? I'm here, right? Sometimes I'll walk my hand up a little bit higher. My hand snakes through, and it's like a race because like if I'm too slow, he might punch an underhook and like knock me back, right? And we have a response for that, but I don't want that to happen. So I have to beat him here. Boop. And then we tap. All right, again, if I concave my shoulders here and I do this, yeah, it's like you're going to get knocked over. All right? My chest is, so I'm like pushing my chest into his, and then I lean over that grip, right? So I'm here, my hand snakes through, and then we finish with that guillotine. Make sense? Is it a crank? Is it a choke? It's a little bit of both. We call it no, not coke. That's something else. All right, let's go. Ready? 1, 2.